Hi, it's Dan Lesniak, the best-selling author of the hyper-local, hyper-fast real estate agent and the broker of Optime Realty, which is home to the Orange Line Living and Carrie Scholl team. I wanted to take a quick second to talk about transaction coordinators. Recently, I've had agents ask me, if they need them and at what point they should hire them. I think a transaction coordinator is a very important part of your team. Most likely, if you're a solo agent, it should be your first hire. A lot of agents make the mistake when they're growing of going out and getting a buyer's agent or another licensed agent, and that's not necessarily what you need at that point. Often it's the wrong choice, but a lot of people like doing it because they can hire a buyer's agent without a salary, just on a 50-50 split or something like that, and they view it as no cost to them, no risk. But what ends up happening now is you've got two people that kind of have the same capabilities and strengths and weaknesses, so it's not helping your team. Most likely, if you're a solo agent growing your business and doing well, you're great at sales, you're great at helping clients get good deals, you're great at generating new business, but you might get lost in the details of transactions. Well, when that happens, you're going to provide poor service to your clients. That's going to lead to bad reviews, potentially lead to less referrals in the future, and lead to less happy clients, and it's going to add more stress to your life. So my advice is, first hire is transaction coordinator. Now, they might have other roles as well, so when you're growing, this person may also be able to help with marketing and other administrative items, but a large portion of what they should take on should be being a transaction coordinator. As you grow, or if you have a team, you might be able to have someone that is just doing the transaction coordinating process, helping get your clients from contract to closing and making the experience as seamless and stress-free as possible. So when do you hire your transaction coordinator? Well, ideally, you'll hire this person before you actually need them. So I always say, you hire for the vision, so you don't want to wait until you absolutely need them to make the hire. If you do that, it's going to be, you're going to be at capacity, you're going to be behind, and now you're going to have to hire them. You may not have time to properly train them. So ideally, you're going to hire them a couple months before you're to the point where you actually need them. So at the point when you're going to need them is when you are so busy that you can't take on extra details, and you might drop potential balls, or not be able to prospect or take care of the earlier part of your sales pipeline. For most solo agents, this will probably be when you're doing 2 to 3 transactions a month. It can vary though, because different markets have obviously different price points, so that's going to affect the amount of revenue you're generating. Salaries are different in different areas, so all of these things need to be taken into consideration. If you're in a higher price point market, you might be doing only 1 to 2 transactions a month, but that client might expect, if they're $1 million clients, they might expect more service than clients in lower priced markets. So you have to take into consideration the level of service that your clients expect, as well as your price points and commissions, revenue, all of that. As you're building your team up, and that transaction coordinator is getting busy because if they're your first hire, they're going to be doing other things. Well, at some point you're going to have to make a hire, a second hire, and you're going to want to do that before the transaction coordinator, administrator gets overwhelmed. And that's probably going to happen when you're getting in the 5 to 6 transactions per month. So after that point, your next hire will probably be another licensed agent. So notice, I'm recommending 2 salaried administrative hires before you go out and hire another listing agent or buyer's agent. And I'll talk later in a different video on potential salaries and compensation structures for people on your administrative team, people on your sales team, and all that. But for now, I just want to kind of leave you with the final words of wisdom that transaction coordinator is definitely important. Probably should be your first hire. That person, if they're your first hire, can do multiple other things. You want to make that hire before you get overwhelmed. In most markets, that is probably going to be around 3 transactions a month, but depending on your price point, level of service, it could vary. Second hire is also going to be in an administrative role, and at that point you've got a couple options. That second hire can become a transaction coordinator. Now you've got your first hire to train them in that role, and that's going to free up your first hire to do other tasks. That probably happens in most markets around 5 to 6 transactions a month. But then at that point you go out and get your first licensed agent. These numbers kind of vary depending on market size, and importantly, you want to make these hires before you actually need them. So you're hiring for the vision. You're hiring where you're gonna go, not what the present day condition is. And you do that so that you have time to properly train them and find them, train them, and make everything as seamless as possible, and really free yourself up to focus on continual lead generation and continually building your prospects and your pipeline. Hope you enjoyed that tip, and if you've got any other topics you'd like us to specifically address, please feel free to contact us. Thanks a lot.